Hey guys, 22 Plinkster here. I've got an older, but I guess new version of pistol to show you guys. Now this is a Walther P22. They've been out for several years. And Walther contacted me a couple of weeks ago and they said, hey, why haven't we seen a review on the Walther P22? Well, I kindly put it like this. I told them I'm not a big fan of the Walther P22. The reason why I have not been a fan of the Walther P22 is I fired 5 or 6 of them in my lifetime, and every one that I fired I had problems with. And the problems were, is exactly this. They were very finicky on ammunition. Past 5 or 6, 7 years, it's been really hard to get 22 LR. And you pretty much had to get whatever you could get off the shelf. Now that may be some Subsonics, or that may be some standard velocity or high velocity. So you had to buy what you could buy. And when you feed them in small little compact pistols like this, they can be extremely finicky. And that's what was going on. The ones that I shot, they jammed, they failure to eject. I had a lot of problems with them. But Walther, when they contacted me, said, hey, we've fixed those issues. We've got the newer version of the P22. Can we send it to you and for you to do a review? And I said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. What do I have to lose? So before I go over those things that Walther changed in this handgun, let's shoot it a few times. And I've got a whole pocket full of magazines. I think I got like 5 or 6 of them. Let's start off close here. All right. And I really like this trigger. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. All right, let's go for the dueling tree right here. This is the Challenge Target Dueling Tree. All right, Dave, slow down. This is not a competition pistol by no means, so I try to run it a little bit faster than what I should. All right, I'm gonna go across the creek at 50 yards. Let me see if I can slap a little bit of steel over there. All right, found where my hold was. All right, just for giggles, I'm gonna try to hit that plate at 100 yards. I don't know if I can do this with this little bitty handgun or not, but we're going to give it a shot. All right, I did hit it a few times. I'm having to hold on the right shoulder at this distance. All right, let's go a little bit closer here. Let's try this dueling tree once again. All right. And let me see if I have any more magazines. Oh, yep, I have one more. Let's go across the creek again. Not at 100, but at 50. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right, I'm gonna try to hit that little bitty 6-inch plate at 50 yards. That's gonna be hard to hit. Oh, I did hit it. I was shooting high. All right. All right, let me tell you a few things about this handgun that Walther changed. Now I have the older model and the newer model. My brother-in-law let me borrow his older model, and just for comparison. Now, the first thing that sticks out the most are the grips, okay? This is the older model, which has a pretty slick finish on it. I don't like it. It's hard to get a good purchase on it. Now, the newer one has a different texture, and it fits very well in my hands. You can get a good purchase on it. It's got the little finger grooves here on the side, and it's really cool. And plus, you can also replace the back strap on this pistol. Now, the firing, the older model does not have the red dot. The newer model does have a red dot. The older model has the 1-slot rail. The newer model has the 3-slot rail. So that's pretty much it, just by looks. Now I'm going to show you the difference of the two handguns on the inside. Taking these pistols apart are pretty easy. You make sure that the slide is all the way forward. You pull this little lever down. You simply pick up and pull off. Okay, and here is the recoil spring that I was talking about. Let me take this other one apart, the older model, and let me show you. Now you got to be careful on this one. This spring will go flying, and I don't want to lose it. Okay, so this is the older model, and this is the newer model. All right, this is the older, this is the newer. You can see right away that they changed the end of the guide rod, and the spring is much, much shorter, okay? And it's compact, it's already wound. So by going with a little bit lighter spring and getting away from a heavier spring, this pistol will function very, very well, much better than the older model. One of the cool things that they changed on this particular handgun is a decocker. You simply slide the safety down and it does decock the firearm. The older models did not have this. My brother-in-law has one. I tried it. He's got one of the earlier models. So this one, particular one, the newer version, has a decocker. The sights are pretty much the same as the other ones. The older models, you can adjust it for your windage on the rear here. Now, the front sight can be replaced. It comes with several different kinds of inserts. So if you're shooting this firearm a little high or a little low at certain distances, you can change out this front sight. I was shooting a little high. I was having to aim a little low, so I probably would need to go to a little bit higher sight if I wanted to change that out, or I just shoot a little bit under the target. Now, the big thing that they did change on this particular handgun to make it function pretty well, in my opinion. At this point, I've got probably about 500 or 600 rounds through this firearm, and I've had two problems, okay? One of those was failure to fire. And the reason why it failure to fire was, I don't know. I believe it was bad ammunition because I took the round out. It had a good primer strike. It was just some bad ammunition. Or a bad round. They also did give you the 3-slot Picatinny rail here on the bottom, so you can mount your flashlight or your laser, your dog, your cat, whatever you want to mount on the bottom of this rail. The grips are different. It's a different texture. They're a little bit more aggressive grips than the original. And also one cool thing they did, since I have big Sasquatch hands, you can see my hands compared to this little bitty handgun. I've got really big hands, and usually smaller handguns for people with big hands are hard to shoot, but this pistol is very easy for me to shoot. But they do come with a separate back strap. You can go with a smaller one and that comes on it, or you can exchange it for the larger one, which I did to help me get a better purchase on this handgun. The trigger is very nice in this particular firearm. It's about a 7-pound pull when it's in single action mode, and it stops. And once it stops, you've got about a 4-pound brake. That 4-pound brake is very nice. It doesn't feel like a 7-pound travel with the 4-pound brake. It feels a little bit lighter than that, but the trigger brakes extremely, extremely well. I've loaded up some CCI standard velocity, okay? These are 10-round magazines, and it does come with 2 of them, but CCI standard velocity is traveling at 1,070 feet per second. And sometimes doing that, you can get some malfunctions when you're shooting some lower velocity ammunition. So I got 4 magazines loaded up, and let's see if it functions. Functions how it's supposed to anyways. All right, got it on safety. You can fire this handgun double action. So the first shot, double action, and it fired. Flawlessly. I've tried this that ammunition with other Walther P22s, and it did not end well. All right. Let's go across the creek. I don't even know what I'm trying at that 6-inch plate for. I'll hit it. All right, let's go for the dueling tree again. Oh, good grief. Start trying to overrun the pistol. All right, last magazine. Man, I have had better days on this dueling tree, but that was CCI standard velocity traveling at 1,070 feet per second. Let's go even lower. Let me load up a few mags and put in some CCI Subsonic. One of the big problems on the original Walther P22 is that it did not like to be limp-wristed. If you're a young shooter or an inexperienced shooter and you did not get a good purchase on this handgun, it would malfunction if you limp-wristed it. So we're going to try that here in a moment, but right here I've got some CCI Subsonic ammunition. Now this ammunition is firing 20 feet per second slower than the CCI standard. And if you know anything about blowback designs, usually the heavier the bullet and the faster the velocity would be better that it would actually function and work. But right here is some CCI Subsonic, and let's see if I can, or if the pistol will cycle. Cycled it beautifully. All right, so I've got another magazine loaded up here with some CCI Subsonic, and I'm gonna limp-wrist it and see if the pistol will function correctly. Very light. I'm not even gonna have any grip on my, my 3 fingers, just the trigger finger and the palm of my hand here. All right, so this Walther P22, the newer version, just allowed me to limp-wrist subsonic ammo. Here is the final test on the new Walther P22. I have got some CCI suppressor, okay? And if you know what this stuff is, it is traveling at 970 feet per second. So that is 80 feet per second slower than subsonic ammo. This particular ammo is designed for a pistol that has a 6-inch barrel with a suppressor attached to it, okay? So it's not really designed to be shooting it out of a 3.5-inch barrel, but let's see if it will cycle. Got one more, there we go. Cycled beautifully. Walther fixed it. You know, between the decocker and also with this recoil spring, they fixed it, in my opinion. I can now recommend this pistol to people that want to purchase it. You know, little handguns are fun to shoot. I never will recommend someone to carry something like this for self-defense. That's a whole different new discussion. But this pistol, you know, for a camping gun or a backpack gun or a day pack gun, you know, it can get you out of a jam. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can put them down in the comments below. Go over to my Facebook page or Instagram and ask them there. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep plinking. Let's try to do a little bit of an accuracy test. I have an unloaded 12 gauge hole. The back side of this 12 gauge is roughly 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna set it down here at this dueling tree. Now with the match pistol, this isn't a big deal, okay? This is actually a pretty easy shot with a match pistol, but this pistol is not considered a match pistol. This is one of these fun plinkers at the range pistols. All right, I'm gonna have to aim a little bit low. Holy cow. Let me see if I can go find it. That was a perfect shot. Now, it did shoot the back part of the shotgun shell out, but I squared it up right in the middle.